Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to Let's Try Blood of the Werewolf. So Blood of the Werewolf is a platformer game that's been released by Midnight City, or rather it's going to be released at the end of October. Polaris was nice enough to send me a preview copy. It includes the first 5 levels, and man oh man, was this game kind of rough to do. My platformer skills are really not good, but I really enjoyed this one, and I played through all 5 levels that I was sent and had a blast. It's the big thing right away that you can already tell is you play the game in 2 different modes. You play a woman named Selena, whose husband was murdered and whose child was kidnapped. But you are a werewolf, so you decide to swear a blood oath or something against these guys, and you are going to go and rip them apart no matter where they are. So, you go through the platformer, you alternate between your human form, which has a crossbow, and your werewolf form, which has a claws, obviously, and a double jump ability, and some cool chargy kind of stuff, and whatever. There's quite a few upgrades that you can find as you go around, so it's got a very Mega Man, Castlevania, not so Metroid kind of vibe, but you know, maybe a tiny little hint of that, because yeah, so I mean, the upgrade system is very cool. So there's different arrows that you can find for Selena's human form. There's various upgrades to the charge and the claws and so on that you can have in your werewolf form. But in addition to that, the game is not, I find, compared to some other platformer type things, and even though it's, if you're using a gamepad, it is a sort of a dual stick shooter, although I was using the mouse and keyboard just because I'm not good at thumbs. So even though it's got that sort of combat mechanic, I found that the core of the gameplay was really about those really insane-y, kind of jumpy, platformy kind of mechanics, which is actually not too bad because it wasn't really it's not really a twitch type of platformer. It's mostly a precision type of platformer. You've got full air control, and you're really looking to just, you know, land your jumps exactly where you want to be, observe the level, get the timing exactly right. That being said, you can't take too long because you will notice there's a timer in the bottom left corner of the screen, and that is in real time, and the game has a real sort of speed runner competition kind of mode. At the end of every level, your time is presented on a leaderboard. You can compare it to your friends and worldwide and all those kinds of metrics. Now, when you if you do die, and you will die quite frequently, you don't restart the level. You restart from the last checkpoint, which is usually relatively close, but still, if you're playing for time, it really hurts to do that. And certainly some of the segments, you can die so often that it's really frustrating. There are a few places later with this sort of like stampy, I don't know, platform that fall down on you, those sorts of things, that I probably had to replay 15 times before I finally got through it. Although that, you know, that's often the kind of fun in these games too. I love the background art. The matte paintings, the background, the feel of the place is fantastic. I'm not totally in love with the look of your own character itself. They went with this 3D mechanic for your character. Your character is actually 3D, and I guess so are all the other characters in the game. And I feel like it might have lost something that it could have had if the characters also had a sort of a painted look to them. It's not necessarily that it's bad, but it's like, I don't know if I love it quite as much as I could have. Also, sometimes the game feels a little bit slow in terms of movement, because it is about that sort of precise, thoughtful motion as opposed to just really fast Twitch gaming. So as a result, everything is going a little bit in slow motion. I don't know, maybe it's because your werewolf reflexes are so good that everything about you slows down a little bit. What else was I gonna talk about this game? This is all me playing, which is why it's absolutely so bad, because I'm crap at platformers. I'm just awful. In fact, the reason I'm doing this as a post-commentary is because I knew that there was no way I'd be able to do an okay job, and be able to voice things at the same time. It's just, there was no way to do both of them. Most of this footage is probably around level 3 or 4. The final game will have 10 levels and quite a few more bosses, upgrades, monsters, that sort of thing. The sound is great. The music in this game I really love. The voice acting is really fantastic in my opinion. In fact, the reason I decided to do this Let's Try, because platformers are not really my thing, is if you go and you click on the link to go to Steam and you watch the trailer, man, I love the sort of voice acting and storyline in that trailer. That trailer doesn't show much of the gameplay, but it gave me such a great vibe that I had to play it. And the game does stand out. I mean, there aren't a lot of platformers, well, first of all, where you play female characters. It's very unusual. And having the dual modes was something that I thought was going to be kind of cool, and I like werewolves. What can I say, man? Team Jacob? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so I don't know if you've noticed in the bottom right corner, every time there's sort of cycling moon there, that's the autosave. So you can see that checkpoints come fairly frequently, but when you get to the harder section of the game, it really does feel like, couldn't I have a checkpoint every time I land a jump? Because sometimes it's just absolutely brutal. We're gonna end the video with another boss fight against Mr. Hyde here. The first boss fight against the creature, I actually enjoyed myself a lot, and it took me several tries to be able to sort of figure out the pattern of the boss and then learn how to evade it. And it's that sort of very Mega Man-y, Castlevania kind of boss fight where it's all about figuring out the patterns and then beating them. The Mr. Hyde fight, I actually got it on the very first try, which surprised me. The pattern wasn't very difficult to figure out, but it was a very long fight. I felt like the amount of damage he took was a lot, and maybe that was the nature of this particular encounter. It was to see if he could wear you down through attrition. But to me, it went a little bit long there compared to the first fight against the creature. It was just like absolutely crazy, pull your hair out, so many obstacles to dodge. But yeah, that's it. It was a really cool game. I really enjoyed playing it actually, and you might want to check it out. See you next time, folks. Bye bye.